Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Barefoot Minis. And I have the king out, Prairie Views Little Joe Friday, 27 years old. And I'm breaking my rule of standing above my subject, and so he's a little distorted. So let me squat down so you can see Joe in all his glory. He's 27 years old and 29 inches tall. Again, that's 2 feet 5 inches. He's kind of saying hi to his girls today. Some seem to know who their children are and others don't. Joe has never seemed to be one to understand who his children are. Joey. Hey. Hey. Do you know who your children are? No, you don't. I'm going to have to blur things. So, here's the most important thing is temperament. Because I have ones that are docile and sweet and gentle. And then I have this wild man. And then I've also had stallions that turn 3 or 4 and they just go ballistic. And they're unsafe. Even as small as these guys are, they're completely unsafe to handle and to deal with. And how do you keep them? Well, Joe, I can't keep Joe with anybody. Joe thinks he's as big as his shire. And he will try to destroy any of his competition. It's nature for a stallion to want to destroy his competition before he even looks at the mares. So their first instinct is to fight, and their second instinct is to procreate. So he's absolutely stunning. He's lost a little bit of top line, and he needs a dental. But we've bared with each other for 26 years. I'm sorry. He was bred by Prairie View Miniature Horses. Boy, they did well. He's just a beauty. He's still a beauty in his old age. Still a stunner. I think he's as pretty as he was when he was 6. Maybe even prettier because he's very refined and muscular at this age. I can keep Lexington and his sons and his grandsons together. No problem. They all get along very well, and they grew up together. But then there are some stallions you just can't do that with. I cannot do that with Sir Joey. I can't keep him with anybody. He has to be off by himself. But in order for him to feel happy and satisfied and calm, he has to be able to see the mares. So you kind of have to design a stall so that they can really see those mares and understand he gets really upset when he can't see them when they're out of the barn. Joey, that's your youngest child right here. That's your little daughter, little baby daughter. He makes a very stocky, strong offspring, and he's a filly producer too. But unless I have him standing at stud, I think Dove is going to be his last child. And even if he's standing at stud, I'm not sure his fertility is great anymore. So, because he's an old guy and he runs all the time. And the running all the time can kind of cook their fertility a little bit. So, Joey, awesome. Even without an impressive pedigree, and you need some that just have a basic pedigree. You can't just keep breeding top bloodlines all the time because they all become inbred then. If you just keep breeding top bloodlines, sometimes you have to have those more foundation bloodlines, the rarer bloodlines in there. Dev, are you flirting with your dad? Seahorses don't know. They don't know. That's my dad. I shouldn't flirt with them. All they know is that's a stallion, and I want to make more because that's what God called me to do, is make more. He has a big following, early 2000s. So if you've been in minis a long time, you probably have seen Joe somewhere at some time. When I was a kid, a young adult, or an old teenager, I should say, I had the largest list of miniature horse links on the internet, and being homeschooled afforded me the time to do that. And then eventually, and I can even find myself in the Wayback Machine in all my efforts. eventually, someone copied all my work. They copied it, and that's why I've been so against piracy and for being original, because they copied my whole entire list of links, and that was really upsetting for how many hours I put into it, and that I didn't make any money on it, which would have been very helpful to make my video off of Mr. Joe, because he's showing out for everybody, and I don't want to have to blur the whole video. Joey. Whoa, that sounds like a deer. A nice groomy. You see that he's shedding all over? That's because he's starting to put in his winter coat a little bit. Hello, Joe. Hi. I do prefer the calm temperaments in my stallions, but his grandboy Romeo is very calm. His great grandboy Victory is also very calm. Dove, you are being a pain. Hello, Joe. How you looking? How you looking? We cut a bridle path even though it looks silly, because it helps with a lot of things. It helps for the halter to fit them properly, and it helps with their vision. When you have all this hair in the way right here, they just can't see. Helps protect their eyes, but they see out of the side, so this is their line of view. And if they have all this hair in the way, they can't see a thing. See how he's a pinto? You can see his pinto markings now. Right there. But when I first had him, this was all solid. This is rounded out a little bit. You're so shiny, sir, and beautiful. What a beautiful summer coat you have. So shiny and soft. He hasn't been outside for grass for 2 days because I just had so much to do. I needed to rest after all the stuff. All the things. I'm going to give Joe some coat conditioner. Back up so you can see everything. Hello, Joey. Beautiful boy. I bet you will have a fan club, sir. Yes, he was a show horse as a weanling and a yearling. So he was used to all the clipping and all the good stuff. All right, I'm gonna try to do this here, but I know you don't want it in your eyes, so I'm gonna be careful. See what a good boy he is? It's not that they love it, but they put up with it. They know it's not gonna hurt them. I'm gonna get my clippers together, which I should have done already while I'm waiting for that to soak in. Hi, Joey. Hi, buddy. have to really watch your stallion herd to make sure everybody's safe and accounted for, because this year Romeo decided that his gelding brother was the enemy. And because of that, I have had to separate his brother from him, and that's why I had to have Guy in the mare herd. Because you don't want to fight, you don't want a vet bill, because they tear each other apart. So you have to be really careful and watch your herds to make sure everybody's getting along. But I've known people who keep all their stallions together. You just have to have enough space to get away from each other if fights arise. Using my brush busters on Joe here to brush out his mane. I have to look down to him because he's so little. I have to make sure you guys can still see him, because I'm zoomed all the way out. And he's still hard to see on the camera. Up close. Buddy, you like that? That feels good. He's an itchy boy. I found he does not do well on corn. A lot of animals don't, though. Dogs and stuff will have hot spots and skin allergies from corn. Joe has the most beautiful, this is my favorite thing on horses, when they have a forelock that goes down to their nose. So pretty. Also, I'm gray. My horses are gray. And there's a lot of people, you don't like gray. I'm not a fan of my own gray hair, but I think it's beautiful in the horses. If they have a little star, a couple hairs that are gray, it will turn into a big star. So we might see things a certain way, but others might see them differently. They might think gray hair is absolutely stunning. So it's okay. It's all part of it. I'm so glad I still have him. He's been through a lot of things. Lexington once got out of his stall and jumped into Joe's stall and tore Joe to pieces. There was always a bit of a feud between those two. Not always, I suppose. I used to be able to put them all out together. But, like I said, you really have to watch. Because someone will get offended about something, or a mare will be in season and it'll change the dynamic. He sheds a lot of mane. So does Jamie. That's his oldest daughter. He's only made one colt. So he's been consistently a filly producer for me. Isn't that fantastic? If I had lots of money and lots of land, I'd have had a lot more babies out of him. I'd still be breeding if I could sell easily. But I'm okay if I have to keep them too, because they have a good home here with me and a good life. The best of everything that I can do for them. I'm relaxing him. He's yawning over there. Am I boring? Am I boring you, Joe? Is this a sign? I'm going to put that right here, buddy. What else can I tell you about stallions? Beautiful, a handful, impressive, awe-inspiring, a handful, a challenge. If you like a challenge, you like stallions. They can be dangerous, no matter if they're this tiny or if they're a giant warm blood. They can be dangerous. You have to always be on your guard, never turn your back. Train them to behave the best you can. Sometimes they're still not going to behave unless they have that just amazing temperament. But he's being a good boy. He's enjoying things. aren't ya? You enjoying life, Joe? I guess I will take him while I record and just put him back in his stall now until later so he can go out and have some grass, and maybe you guys can see him prance around on lead a little bit. All right, nice. No owner abuse. I don't know if you're seeing anything. And Joey, what are you doing, Joey? All right, everybody. Jesus loves you.